Guys, this is Susan with Pack Leader Dog Training, and I'm here with Rachel Kohler Dog Training, here for our weekly Q&A. So if you have any dog training questions, please ask them. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about whatever topics, dog training or not, that we want to. Yeah. So Rachel, how are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. I want to throw in one thing really quick before we get started. Anybody who's watching this on a replay, I know we're not live anymore, but please feel free to leave any comments, whether you just be commenting on what we're talking about or asking your dog training questions. Because when we sit here for our time and chat to the world and we don't get any engagement, it makes us feel kind of bummed. So if you're watching this, if you like it, leave a comment. And if you got any questions, leave a comment and we'll answer it the next time we're live.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there.
Nice. Like it.
But how are you?
Oh, I'm swell. I'm swell. Tell us about your day.
Well, I've got a busy day today. I had it was kind of graduation / follow-up lesson with Jurgen, a dog from my previous group. I gave him a couple extra graduation lessons to make sure everything was going smooth. So I met with them today and we critiqued a few things, but overall it went really well. So it was really cool to see them doing the work with them and being excited about the training.
Awesome.
Had a few phone calls, I met with a dog who's going to be doing training with me. She's a little shy. Her name is Camellia. She's pretty insecure, and I think she's learned that barking and growling at people is a fun thing to do. It keeps them away, but she's also gotten to greet people while barking and growling, and been given treats by said people while she's barking and growling. So I'm not sure at this point if it's just learned behavior. That's my guess, because I've had 2 interactions with her at this point. And both times, if she's barking and growling at me, I'm just ignoring her right now. But if she's calm and quiet, I've been rewarding that. So the first time I met her, the barking went on for a while. Like, she would just bark and growl at me, but would fall asleep and then wake up and bark and growl at me some more. So it's like, if you're sleeping, you're not aggressive or anxious and uncomfortable.
So like that time, the only thing you did was just reward when she was quiet.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing.
And then I didn't meet her at all. The dad had the leash, because this wasn't an actual training. This was kind of like a meet and greet. So the dad had the leash. I was like, don't let her come over to me because she's sketch and she doesn't get to greet me when she's acting like that. So I just rewarded for the calm behavior. This time, and that was like, I think 2 months ago, probably. It'd been a good bit of time. I saw her today. We did the same thing. Minimum barking. Like, she barked a couple times, growled once or twice. I rewarded some when she was quiet, but she calmed down a lot quicker. I think the dad had been implementing some stuff that we talked about last time, as far as not letting her pull you to greet people. Like, you don't run up and bark and growl and lunge at somebody. That's not how we greet people.
Right.
So she did much better this time. And then working on some things that will be kept top secret until later this week. But anybody watching, Rachel Kohler Dog Training has some big things coming up that I can't wait to announce.
Big things.
Big things that are crazy.
Super exciting.
Crazy and super exciting. So I was working on those big plans today. So been running around taking care of some things. So keep an eye out for that announcement. I'm hoping next few days.
Yeah. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everybody to hear what it is.
No, it's like secret land. A couple clients know. It's a need to know basis right now. But it'll be posted soon.
Back to Camellia, which I'm going to remember that name.
I'm going to remember it now too.
Because we were saying Camilla. It's Camellia.
I was thinking like Camilla Cabello, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
But it's Camellia.
But I think it's interesting, dogs that have aggression, it's sometimes hard to differentiate between, like, is it reactivity or aggression? So I just thought that would be like a good topic. How do you tell the difference, Rachel?
I don't know. So the one big thing with reactivity is it's usually, when the dog's on leash or behind a fence, a barrier reactivity, being on the leash. I'm barking, I'm freaking out at you, but once I get to you, I'm either gonna roll down and submit or be excited and just want pets. Whereas aggression is leash, no leash, barrier, no barrier. I don't care. The attention is there to, I'm gonna bite you.
So, question: what if the dog's off leash barking but backing up? Never like goes at the people, just like barks and backs up.
My like, what is that called? I don't know. My main thing for that, like my thought immediately is like you're just super insecure and you're being a brat. But probably what has happened is this dog is insecure. Somebody came to approach it. The dog got uncomfortable and he said, I'm going to bark and act like a fool. And the person moved away. So the dog said, I'm going to make a mental note that to keep these big, scary people away from me, I bark and act like a jerk. So little dog syndrome. But I'm going to bark, act really tough, and then I'm going to move away from you, right?
Yeah.
So usually I think of that as the dog's just insecure. That's not to say that dog's just insecure, you can push it, they're not going to bite you, because then you're going to get bit, but it's going to be out of fear and not like aggression, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
What
like
I think anyways.
They're not looking for trouble, but if you invite yourself into their space,
there's going to be some trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be trouble. Yeah.
But
I think
I was gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna comment. It was funny though, because with the aggression and reactivity, though, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny because it's like, well, how do you know? If you've got a dog and it's barking on leash, is it just barking and it's gonna be nice when it gets to you, or is it gonna run up and bite you? You don't know unless you test it. And it's funny because I was talking to you about this today because I was telling you, for those who don't know, I was like, Susan, you're really awesome, because you will be in situations where you're like, with the dog you had before, like, all right, bring him closer to me. The dog was barking at her, and Susan had the owners bring the dog closer to see what she would do, and then she like rolled down or something to be pet. She like frogged on the ground to get some pets.
Oh yeah, like at first. So I just met with a dog named Maya who's gonna train with me in December. But she was reactive / aggressive ? So she would like bark and kind of like get to the end of her leash, and like bark at you, right? So I had the owner, because we were in their house, I had the owner just walk her past me because I wasn't getting that feeling from her, which, it's a roll of the dice. So maybe Susan wasn't feeling that she was going to bite me, but maybe she does. That's my bad. So I wasn't getting that vibe from her. So she's on a leash. I asked the owner to walk her by me. She did, and she walked by me just fine. So I had her do it again. And then a third time, I had her like walk by me and a little bit past me. Just to see, like, are you going to pull and try to get to me and like bark and lunge at me? But no, she kind of just sat there. So by the time she came to me, because I did allow her, I'm like, yeah, let her greet me. No tension in the leash. She did just frog leg on the floor and like smell me. So I'm like, okay, I feel much better. But yeah, like I am notoriously known for taking risks, and that's not always the best thing, because if you take a risk, sometimes it's not going to end in the way that you hoped it would.
Whereas I am a very precocious person. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm not trying to get there. But I didn't mean to cut you off there. Were you done?
No, you're good. It is thundering here now.
I was going to ask you. I thought I heard it.
And I guess Milo's afraid of storms because he's acting silly in the kennel. For anybody that doesn't know, I have my one friend's 4 dogs. Only one of them is trained by me, so that leaves 3 untrained dogs. I know, Susan, why would you do that? Because I love this.
Because you love your friend.
Yes. So Milo is one of the 3 untrained dogs by me. So for the ones that are untrained by me, I just have like bare minimum things I request. You're calm in the kennel. I don't care what you're doing, like standing or whatever, but you're calm. No barking, whining, and like you sit at threshold, kind of, and you're not a jerk. It was pretty much like that. That's pretty much it. Well, Milo's over there spinning and like pawing at the kennel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming it's because of the thunder. So if you guys hear me say no and like smack my hands, or if I have to get up and smack the kennel, that's why.
Yeah, it's thundering pretty loud here.
Mm-hmm.
And I love a good storm. I love a storm. I love feeling the thunder, hearing it, listening to the rain. I don't even think it's raining though, but that's beside the point. Gaia hates.
Quick question. This isn't a trick. Have you heard the song "I Love the Rainy Night" or whatever? It's a country song.
I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. It made me think of that. I like that song.
I'll have to look it up. Would you like me to sing it for you?
Tonight.
But Gaia doesn't like storms. So for a good chunk of time, she ruined my love of storms because instead of me like enjoying the thunder and the rain, she's over here like panting and freaking out. Well, I do have to say, she's stressed. She's on place. She's not panting.
That's
She's
awesome.
just on her place, relaxed, because every time the past few months, or every time I could, and it's been storming since I got her actually, she's been on place or in the kennel. Now she's laying there on her play spot and she's looking around. But before, there would be like a puddle of drool on her cot because she was stressed out from the thunder. This is the loudest thunderstorm I've heard in a while, and she's just laying on her cot.
That's fantastic. If for you guys who don't know, panting is just a sign of stress, and there's not really much you can do about it. It's just going to go away with time. It seems to
clearly
take forever. Yeah, but the fact that she's not whining or panting is freaking fantastic. Like once that goes away, oh,
this is great. This is like the first storm we've had where she's not been panting. Which I'm like, am I gonna get to enjoy my storms again soon? Yeah. I like literally right before we started the Q&A, it was going hard, right? Like it was thundering really loud. And I was like, she was being really good. And I'm like, am I gonna get to like relax and just listen to the storm and not be stressed about her?
Yeah.
And I love it. So you do the work and it pays off. So every time it stormed, I didn't let her walk around and pant and try to break out of my room or do those things. I put her on place and I held her accountable. Or I put her in the kennel and I held her accountable. And now she's chilling. Like she just put her head down. My heart could explode right now.
That's so great.
Best dog ever. I love her so much. We had Piper stay at my house for boarding, and she was here for 9 days. After Piper, well, first off, Gaia was phenomenal when Piper was here. I was so proud of her. She was the most patient dog ever because Piper, and I say this with love, is a crackhead. A fully trained, well-behaved crackhead. Gaia was an angel. Like, she's killing me this past week. Because then when Piper left, she's been extra cuddly, extra cute, extra awesome. And I'm just so proud of her. I had to boost her for a minute.
So great.
But, oh, what are you going to say something?
No.
Okay. I was going to just backtrack to the conversation we were having a second ago. And then I think you had a question after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I want to backtrack because, like, I think reactivity and aggression is a really good example of something. So we do this live Q&A, and when people care to join us or when people watch the replay and ask us questions, we do our best to answer them and be as helpful as possible. But I think we are smart about how we answer things and the advice we give on specific situations. And where I'm going with that is we have to have, when we're working with a dog and we're like, is this dog aggressive or reactive? A lot of it is vibes, reading fine little details in body language. So for those who don't know, the other day you were telling me the story about that you just told with this dog, Maya.
Yeah.
And before you had walked me through the whole thing, you told me that, yeah, she was barking whatever, blah. Barking whatever, blah, had the parents bring her closer and she was fine. Well, my gut instinct was like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. Because I wasn't there. I didn't read the vibes. And then, of course, you broke the story down for me a bit more. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But without being there and seeing it, I thought you were like out of your mind for doing that.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas, like, I have a case that could be described very similarly with Camellia. She's not bit anybody, but the vibes I get from her are vibes of I don't want her just rushing up to me. because I'm feeling pretty unpredictable. Those are my vibes with her right now, and that's going to change as I work with her probably. But I don't know. I'm like, gosh, dude, were you in a camellia situation and you just let the dog come up to you? You're crazy. Right. Or am I like, but like, you have to know, because I've been in situations where, like, so Aslan, when I trained him, his post-training interview, if I ever finish it, will be going up soon. And you see, when I meet him, he rushes me at the door. But the vibes were different. I didn't have any feelings that he was going to hurt me there. Right. So they're all three stories that, when portrayed, especially over comments, right? Like, hey, this dog's lunging and barking at me. Should I let it come up and greet me? Well, I don't know, because I'm not there. And the whole point of this is, it's like, that's why when we give advice, gotta go take care of some stuff. But that's why when we give advice, if it's questions that relate to anything with aggression or reactivity, we are cautious to answer, because if a dog is just reacting versus if a dog's aggressive, our answers are going to be different. And it just made me like have a flashback to our internship, and the owner of said facility at said internship would answer questions about aggressive or reactive dogs on the podcast. And it's like, what if that dog is aggressive? Or when you do X, Y, and Z that you as a professional, a piece of duty, but a professional recommended an owner do, could be like really dangerous. And I know I'm going on the side right here, but
yeah, no, it could be dangerous. And that's why I think we do so well, because we do feel those vibes. It's not something you can really teach. You know, I'm sure you've been around something or someone where you're just like, that don't feel right. Same thing is like the dog. That's what we're looking
said
for.
Internship.
We pay attention to body language for sure. You know, what is the dog doing, kind of thing. But then it does come down to like, no, I don't want you to come near me, or like, I think you'll be fine. But again, and I told the owners this, because like, whatever. But so it was a husband and wife. Yeah. The wife had the dog. And I said, you go ahead and walk by me. Like, literally, that's how I said it, because I'm like, whatever. And she's like, oh. And so, like, that plays a part, too. Right. So, like, the owner was a little nervous. And I try my best to, like, alleviate them. But I said, I'm like, hey, if anything happens, because I'm sure she was, dog's a pit bull, so they already get a bad rap. I'm sure she was afraid of.
She's a cutie patootie, though.
He's cute. So I'm sure she's afraid of, like, what if my dog bites this lady? So I said, hey, if something happens, that's on me. I'm the one telling you to do the stuff. So I'm like, don't worry about it. If something happens, it's on me. And then later I told her, I said, hey, you know, you're the owner. I'm just the dog trainer, right? I don't know her, but for the last 10 minutes. So if you ever feel some sort of way, like if you're really uncomfortable, tell me. Because she might see or feel something that I don't, because I don't know the dog really. I'm just going off right now.
Right.
But yeah, it did go well. Thank God. She was fine. I think she's just awkward. I think she has no social cues, you know, like manners.
But in a different way.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you bring up a good point there. As your dog's owner, it is your responsibility to advocate for them and to speak your mind when it comes to things revolving around them. So just like in that instance, she was a little uncomfortable, but you know, you weren't asking anything too crazy, and she worked through it and it was fine. But you're like, hey, just so you know, this is your dog. So like you told me that y'all used to say in the vet world, you know your dog better than anybody else, right? Whatever you said. And while we are professionals in the pet care industry, it's your dog, and we can't read your mind.
Right.
So, what are you saying?
That's what I would say that a lot for sick pets and pets that were coming in for euthanasia. Talking about it just makes me miss being a vet tech. Anyway, I would say it to those owners because, you know, we would give them all of the medical information. So I'm going to give you all the dog training information that I have based off this interaction I'm having with you. But you know your dog. All I can tell you is the knowledge I know, but you've had years, maybe, with this animal. So you would know them better than me. You know? Really, in certain situations. So, yeah, if you're feeling some sort of way, always advocate for your feelings. Like, this is a weird side rant, but I'll say it anyway. So, like, if you're feeling something and thinking something and they're different, go with your feelings. Because your brain is just there to, like, second guess you. But definitely go with, like, the feeling. For sure. So if you're feeling some sort of way about something, listen to that intuition.
Right. Okay. Do you have a question for me?
I sure do. Sorry. So distracted by Milo because he's just spinning, panting, pawing at the kennel.
You're not used to having a dog that is like that, like an untrained dog in your house.
Right, because I can't do anything except say no and punish you for the really bad stuff. Right? So without training this dog, I can't. No. So like right there, he put his paw up on the kennel. No, sir. I am not disagreeing.
No way, Jose.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you being anxious. I'm disagreeing with the symptom of your anxiety. That's all I can do right now because I'm not training you. But you can't try to break out of your kennel because that's bad. Not that he would. He's 4.5 pounds. But
yeah, he couldn't if he tried.
He couldn't. But he's held to the same standards as safety.
He could damage himself just as bad trying.
Yes. Question.
Answer. That was easy.
I just got a new puppy. What's the best way to introduce her to my 4-year-old boxer?
Great question. So for me, I'm gonna just, again, I don't know your boxer, never met him before. But my go-to for introductions is we don't do one. It's existing. It's just existing. So I'm gonna assume the boxer's not trained. What?
Sorry, I think we should have like hand sign, like the signs with like words on them. So one should be like no, one should be like don't with like a red, thing. So because you're like, how would I introduce them?
Okay, so we're gonna have to make someone at your house, so then they can only.
And one that says train your dog.
Oh my gosh, that one I could just hold that one the whole lesson. Yep. Question, boom, or the whole Q&A. Boom, train your dog. Okay, that'll be fun. Thank you.
Yes, the 4-year-old boxer is not trained.
What?
The 4-year-old boxer is not trained.
Okay, so then what we're gonna do is go back in time and train your dog before you get a puppy.
Okay.
Okay. No, real talk though, not to be a smart aleck. I always recommend that you have your first dog trained before you get a second one. But here we are, right? So with your dog not being trained, right? I know they probably know some of the little things they know, but the only way you can really, really effectively communicate is through the leash then. So you're going to have the dog on a leash and back tied to something maybe so he can lay on the bed, or somebody else can be holding the dog's leash. And then you're going to have, that was so weird because I didn't even hear the clap.
Sorry.
I didn't, no, I couldn't hear it. It was weird. I heard the thunder though. And then you're going to have said puppy on a leash as well. Rachel, you want our dogs to be leashed inside? Yes. Matter of fact, your puppy should be leashed all the time. If your puppy's not in the kennel, it needs to be on a leash. So you're going to have both dogs on leash and you're going to hang out. We're not going to investigate each other for a while. We're just going to hang out. Over time, they're going to not get excited when they see each other. So puppy's going to see boxer, boxer's going to see puppy. They're going to shrug their shoulders. I don't care. I never get to meet you, never get to hang out with you. Once they're at that point is when I would let them get closer. That would be my go-to for 2 dogs who are untrained, or a puppy. But always remember to advocate for them. So once you go through that and they're with each other and little puppy starts chewing on the boxer and the boxer's clearly upset about it, move the puppy away. Or if the boxer's being too rough, move the boxer away. But they're both on leashes for safety. And we're going to advocate for them each. because I don't care that the puppy's a puppy. It doesn't get to get away with being rude at my
Right.
Instagram story.
Right. Yeah, like they advocate for both parties involved. I think that's the missing key to a lot of things, and I think with dog training, puppies tend to get away with a lot because it's a puppy. But how long are you going to use that excuse, right?
Forever.
There, there's certain things that's like, yeah, it's a puppy, right? She's not queuing when she has to go potty. Oh yeah,
Oh my
she's
gosh, I gotta talk about that.
yeah, she's a puppy. She's whining in the kennel. She's a puppy. Like, yes, we're gonna correct like
Screaming
craziness. Yeah, like if the dog can control it. So a lot of side tangent about whining. Usually it's like, is the dog trying to be good, but the whining's coming out like a leaky balloon? Then I'm not gonna correct you. But if you're whining to get attention, oh, we're correcting you. So if the puppy's in there and it's just like, oh, just laying there, I'm like, okay. But if the puppy's like, oh, and just like howls, no, bonk or whatever. Think about intent. So with that, there's like a little bit of give for puppies. But yeah, don't use the excuse that your puppy is a puppy. It can be trained.
Because we are raising dogs, not puppies. And one more thing on that note, and I got something else to say. Your puppy is not gonna grow out of X behavior. They're not gonna grow out of behaviors. If they can do it, they're gonna continue to do it. So at what age will my puppy grow out of biting me? Puppy biting. They're not. Like, I think it was you who had this story, but you knew somebody, you went to their house and they had an adult dog. It just walks up and puts its mouth on people because it was never told as a puppy it can't do that. Well, if I'm at somebody's house and this dog I don't know comes up and puts its mouth on me, like if I don't know you and it's like, hey, munch, no, coffee in your face, like don't put your mouth on me. Like,
Ding.
But they don't grow out of behaviors, they grow into them. Why would a puppy stop doing something? It's not like the puppy's brain, it's got like a little it's not like a little calendar goes off in their brain and they're like, alrighty, I'm 5 months old now, I better stop puppy biting. I've just hit 30 pounds, I should probably stop jumping on people now. No, if you don't stop these unwanted behaviors, the puppy's not going to just magically be like, I'm too mature for that now. No, you got to teach them. But I wanted to go back and just agree with something you said, and I wanted to point it out again because I thought it was a really great point. Don't ever tell anybody I said that. I might delete this whole Q&A because I said that. But when people bring in a new puppy, everyone's only ever worried about the new puppy. What if the adult dog's mean to them or steps on them or da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And they're only worried about advocating for the puppy. Advocating, the best that most people know how. But nobody ever advocates for the adult dog. Now, I shouldn't say ever, but a lot of the time, no one's advocating for the adult dog.
Yeah.
How, like, the puppy can't get in their face and be rude, right? Like, just because it's a puppy, you still can't come in here and be rude to this dog.
Ooh.
So, yes, I want to tell my story after this.
No, go ahead. You tell your story. Let me remember that.
Okay, don't forget it.
Okay.
So, basically, the other day on Instagram, I don't usually comment dog training advice unsolicited on Instagram. Like, I never do. But I was scrolling. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning one morning, and I was up getting ready for work. And by getting ready for work, I mean sitting there scrolling on my phone. And I see this video of a dog, a big dog, with its bone and its little pawsies. And this puppy comes over and is messing with the bone and messing with the dog's face. And the dog growls. The big dog growls. Puppy doesn't care. Still playing in the face and on the bone. The owner is just recording this interaction. And she's like, Fido, like says the dog's name that growled. And then that was it. When the mom talked, the puppy ended up prancing away. But don't be mad at Fido for growling. Be mad at yourself for not removing the puppy from the situation.
Right.
So I commented, which I never do, but I was like, hey, you know, this is dangerous. We want to advocate for both dogs here. Puppy shouldn't be messing with Fido while he's got a bone. That's really not fair to him. And as somebody who has dealt with dogs personally and professionally, who had resource aggression, that's going to be a good way for your dog to get resource aggression, because if you're not going to advocate for him while he's chewing his bone, he's going to advocate for himself with his mouth by biting the puppy. And then resource aggression gets really bad really fast. So I was like, you know, you want to just make sure you're advocating for everybody in this situation. Just because your dog's a puppy doesn't mean it gets to be rude. And I was like, you know, DM me if you've got any questions or whatever, right?
Right.
And they took offense to that and deleted my comment and then like blocked me. So I'm like, that's fine. So I made a story about it because it's a learning thing, right? I'm not calling them out. I'm not telling anyone their name, but it's not cute. Like, imagine if you have a kid and then you bring another kid into your house, like you adopt this kid, and the new kid comes up and is just bullying the existing kid, being really rude to them, invading their space. But this one's new, so I want to be so nice to them. What the heck about your original kid?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I have to be bullied and treated like duty.
Right. Yeah.
So advocate for everybody, please.
Yes. Because I think that's what people wait for the adult dog to interfere or just take it. Because I've had clients that say, you know, my puppy bothers my adult dog, but he doesn't do anything about it. Okay. You do something about it, right? We gotta step in, because if we don't, they will.
Thank you.
And some dogs are nicer than others. Like if a dog got in my dog Little's face, she'd be the one that like would just crumple and never. She's a dog, she could, but never bite anybody, right?
Right.
Sadie, if I didn't advocate for Sadie, she will warn them. And if the warning doesn't get through, she will probably bite them. Because that's what most dogs would do. If you don't advocate for them, they will. And it gets dangerous.
Right. Yeah, advocate for your dogs, you guys. But what were you gonna say before I went on my rant?
That was pretty much it. Like the advocate thing. Yep.
Nice. Well, we are at time then. Did you have anything else you want to comment? Are we good?
I think we're good.
So thank you to everyone watching. I know we had a few people joining right at the end, so thanks for hopping on. We will, should have mentioned this in the beginning, but not be live next Tuesday because somebody, me, scheduled graduation lessons for that time. So we will not be here next Tuesday, but make sure you catch us on the 24th and the 31st. We will be doing a special.
Ooh. Sorry, I remembered it was going to be special, but I forgot why it was going to be special. Well, like the two reasons. There's going to be one obvious one, but the second one I was like, oh.
Okay. So we could share the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be special because I'm going to be up in Pennsylvania. So Susan and I are going to be together while we're doing the live. Again, that's going to be the 24th and the 31st. We might do our regular 6 p.m. time, but we might put out a poll to see if different times work for people. I know we had played with that idea a bit because it's special and we don't want y'all to miss it. We're going to be live doing some super awesome stuff on our Q&As 24th and 31st, so don't miss us then. In the meantime, we've got plenty of replays while you miss us next week. If you watch this, if you watch the replay, leave a comment. Let us know if you loved it, because if people don't ever comment on our Q&As anymore, we're going to stop doing them because it hurts our feelings. Just so y'all know. Like, when we go through a Q&A and nobody comments, at the end of it, we're like, we're going to quit doing them. So if y'all like these, let us know because we want to be loved too. Just so you know. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Pack Leader Dog and Rachel Color Dog Training. Everybody have a great night.
Night.